A recession at some point in the future means that the Federal Reserve will stop hiking and will stop shrinking the balance sheet. And they will probably go towards cutting. In the future, in 12 months' time, the probability of inflation being, at 8% is extremely low because of the year-on-year computational differences and the fact that oil, copper, freight rates, everything has come down massively. So I'm thinking that there is a probability that inflation goes negative within 18 months. So if we look out 12 months, the recession is behind us, rates are lower, and inflation is low. Okay, so that is a very good outcome for risk assets. So I'm thinking the markets are forward looking. I think the sentiment is extremely bearish. And we're going into a potential change in the macro. Does it happen this month, next month? Don't really care. Then we've got the ETH merge, which we all know about. I don't think it brings fireworks. Maybe it does. Maybe there's a big sell-off after it, big sell-off beforehand. I don't really know. And again, I don't really care. What I do know is that post-merge, a few things happen. It's clear there's going to be another leg down in equities because they need to price in the recession. That's assuming that everything operates in real time, but it doesn't. So when I look at the year-on-year rate of change of, let's say, the NASDAQ, and compare it to the ISM index, which is my guide to the business cycle, the Institute of Supply Managers survey, it suggests that the ISM survey, the NASDAQ is pricing in ISM at around 40. ISM at 40 is relatively deep recession. ISM at 47 is usually a recession level, and 40 is something, to the order of magnitude of kind of negative 2% GDP growth. So it's already priced in. The S&P is similar. Things like copper are close, oil less so, but coming down over time in line with the business cycle. The exponential age stock, so the long end of technology, the ARC style investments, they priced an even deeper recession. So they got down to about 35 in the ISM, which was very, very low. So I think the market's discounted this already mainly, and that the low potentially is in, because what will be happening in 12 months' time? In 12 months' time, we will have seen a recession, and we will likely be coming out of it. Whether we're fully out of it or not, doesn't matter. So I think we're at the new cycle point. Is it today? Is the low in? I would give it an 80% probability, but there's a 20% chance it's not. So I'm very focused right now on watching the price structure. And the final thing to give you is the big one for me is ETH breaking about the 2000 level. That will give us an inverted head and shoulders low. And also there's a downtrend from the high, and it would have then broken a wedge pattern to the upside, and that would be the start of the run to new highs whenever that occurs. So that was a lot of information in a short period of time. I have, since I first discovered Bitcoin in 2013, been of the opinion that this was a parallel financial system that's being built. In the last 18 months, I've realized that it's bigger than just a financial system. It's in fact the entire system of value, transfer, storage, and ownership in the new digital world. It is probably one of the biggest things I've ever heard of or seen, and it is an incredibly exciting moment in time to be part of it. And it's like learning about the discovery of oil when the Rockefellers and all of these guys started figuring out that the oil was going to make the world go round. Had you been an investor and a participant and understood what it could do and what businesses you could build across the network of oil or the mobile phone or the internet, the fortunes that were made, the changes that happened were so staggering. And this is happening faster. And at the very center of it is a system of money and value, which means that in itself, it is going to accrue value faster than anything else, because that's what it's actually doing, is taking value from old places and putting it into a new place. and understood what it could do and what businesses you could build across the network of oil or the mobile phone or the internet, the fortunes that were made. And it is that perfect nexus of macro and crypto, because the macro is so fucked, which we've known for so long. You know, the massive debt, the bad demographics, you know, the polarization of the world again, the deglobalization, the globalization, all the mess that caused. All of that is going on in macro land, which is pretty miserable. And here's the solution in front of our eyes. I mean, what a time to be alive. And that's why it's so important. Everybody needs to understand this stuff. Whether you're trading this stuff, building businesses, or you're just observing it, it is incredibly, incredibly important. There are no miners to sell every day. That's about 6 billion that just disappears from selling each month. Okay, so that's a difference. Then we've got the reduction in supply, but that's really driven by the increase in network activity. So we need to kind of see the network go up a lot for that to really kick in. It become deflationary, but it's less inflationary. So there's less ETH around, but then we've got this magic. The magic is you've just introduced yield into the ETH ecosystem in a secure way. So that has a macro that's changing. That to me suggests the next 12 months probably very, very good for digital assets. So that's at the basic level. And then I'm trying to think through, okay, in a new world where ETH is this very important asset, it's still going to have problems. It's still going to be expensive and it's still going to be slow. So as adoption keeps building, a lot of adoption spills outside of the ETH into the Solana, Avalanche, and a bunch of other protocols as well. So I think we're going to see ETH lead the charge, and then we'll see this tail of stuff starting to come as we start a new bull market. And generally things work that way. So I think a lot of these layer ones this time around will be like ETH in the last cycle. They'll end up becoming very large dominant change. Which ones? Yeah. Don't really know. My bet's really on Solana, but it could be any of these, and I'm kind of indifferent right now. Solana's, as I said, I got more allocated towards that than I have to some of the others, but I'm watching them and waiting to see. I've had also technically a perfect monthly, daily, weekly DMARC setup in the Solana ETH cross. Now, I'm not yet ready to make the bet that I would switch my ETH into Solana, but I have some. But I'm observing that to say, let's see if that plays out, because that will be a narrative that people don't really expect. And I'm not saying that Solana becomes bigger than ETH or anything of that sort. I'm just saying, could it outperform in this cycle? So if we all learn together and we all learn at the same speed, that's just nice. It's nice to have a community. It's nice to have questions, people to ask. I don't know everything, far from it.